We're so glad that you're all here at our second senior reading for the semester, featuring the stunning and fantastic, I'm just going to do it down the line, Avery Atkins, Gabby Feliciano, Landon Conklin, Abby Huftalen, and Celia Lansing. Yay! Before we get started, a few thank yous. We say thank you to the fantastic Lore Degenstein Gallery for allowing us to be hosted here with this stunning art of our senior graphic design and art majors. We also say thank you to the incredible literary arts interns who made that lovely sign out there so people aren't screaming during your reading. We also say thank you to Professor Zeta, who trains and handles all of them. And thank you to the gallery workers. We really appreciate you, and IT for filming this fantastic event so we have it for posterity. We ask at this time that you silence your cell phones and anything else that can make noise, like your watches or tablets, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And a blanket content warning for the work you will hear. Some of it may be very activating. We invite you to sit with your feelings and hear. But if something gets too intense, it is totally fine if you feel like you need a break to go out to the hallway. At the conclusion of this fabulous reading, we will have the stunning and incredible Gary and Liz Fink come up and present the Senior Portfolio Prize. We're very excited to hear about that. And, having Gary back in our space is always awesome. So, y'all ready? Fantastic. Y'all ready? Excellent. Let's get this started.
Thank you. My name is Catherine Dent. I'm the director of the Writers Institute and an associate professor of English and creative writing with a focus in fiction. So I and Silas Sobel will be here to give the faculty introductions of all of our seniors tonight. We're going to start with Celia Lansing. From Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Celia is a creative writing and publishing and editing double major with an environmental studies minor, and she is the managing editor of the campus journal that combines her many loves, Dinko Magazine. If Celia could bring together a bunch of writers to a dinner party, she would invite David Sedaris, Hannah Witten, Rick Riordan, and Marissa Meyer, because she would like to thank them for how they have shaped and inspired her as a writer from childhood until today. Dr. Glenn Retief writes, Celia is an extraordinary writer, student, and human being. Her nonfiction is vivid, lyrical, intelligent, honest, and often very funny. She has a marvelous sense of narrative tension. I've taught Celia in fiction workshop and in senior seminar, and I can say that I trust her judgment in so many ways, from her craft choices to her book recommendations. Silas and I gave our daughter Hannah Witten's novel For the Wolf based on your author presentation last semester in senior seminar, and she loved it. Dr. Retief adds that Celia's comments on her peers' work are kind, frank, and insightful, and as a TA in the Summer Writers Workshop last summer, Celia showed maturity and skill. He says, Celia brings a wonderful energy wherever she goes. I know this will be true of the reading we're about to hear. Celia.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for that introduction. Hello everyone, I am going to be reading two pieces for you tonight. I will be starting with an excerpt from a memoir that I'm having published later this year, and then I'll be reading a flash fiction piece that I wrote last semester. So my first piece will be titled You Think Therefore They Are, and it is an excerpt from a memoir about a period of my life where I suffered from post-COVID psychosis. My specific flavor of that, I saw and felt bugs everywhere when they weren't there. I got better. It's all good. October 2023. When you open the side door to your car, the underside of the white metal is swarming with insects. Buxelder bugs, if you want to be exact. Clamoring over one another, they pool in the residual heat radiating off your car's body. You drop the grocery bag you are holding and try not to scream. Your friend walks around the side of the car, their brow pinched. They examine your white Subaru like it's a poignant piece of modern art highlighted against the night sky. Oh yeah, that's a lot of bugs, they confirm. They put their hands on their hips and they nod decisively. Wow. Before that declaration, you couldn't be quite sure whether or not the sight in front of you was fabricated or factual. You couldn't trust your own eyes. With the confirmation that another person can see them too, you feel suddenly, increasingly irrational. Your vision blurs as the blood rushes from your head and the ground feels simultaneously too close and too far away. You want to close your eyes, but you haven't figured out yet that these bugs won't go away if you do. The longer the door of your car stays open, the further that creeping sensation down the back of your neck travels, and the more opportunity one of the nymphs has to pitch forward off the upper rim of the door and onto the springy seat of your vehicle. It could be worse. They aren't actually inside the car, see? Your friend puts their face closer to the swarming mass. They're just hiding between the lip of the door and the side of the vehicle. That doesn't mean anything to you at all. Your eyes are locked to the side of your car as you watch the bugs rhythmically swirl. The patterns would be almost peaceful if there weren't hundreds of them hiding in the cracks of the vehicle you've just been driving around in. Your skin is prickling and twitching, and you can feel your neck tick awkwardly to the side. It sends a tremor up your spine and into the base of your skull. Your ears are ringing. Do you, want me to deal with those? Your friend asks, turning towards you, and you realize you've taken too long to respond. You nod, a welling of words stuck in your throat, and you steady yourself against a nearby lamppost before jerking away from it. You want to scrape every inch of skin off your body with a potato peeler and run it through the laundry. Please, you manage to whisper, and once you start, it's like you can't stop. Please, fucking hell, please get rid of them. I can't. Yeah, sorry, this can't be fun with your bug thing. They're real this time. Don't look, just go around the other side of the car, your friend advises you, but you can't. You're stuck where you stand, staring at the swarm. The top-down lighting from the telephone pole behind you floods the scene as your friend starts scooping handfuls of live insects onto the crunchy pavement beneath your feet. You feel the cold metal of the pole press back into your back, and you flinch instinctively away from what could be the hot rod sparking at the bugs that live beneath your skin. Later that night, your friend tells your roommate everything that happened while you sob in the bathroom. Your clothes are splayed on the floor around you, haphazardly thrown wall to wall, and your makeup has streaked down your cheeks. You look at your red-rimmed eyes in the mirror and wonder how you got here. Your roommate is still listening while your friend describes the scene. You imagine them crouching on your floor while your roommate sits at her desk. Her lamp is on, angled at the ceiling and casting a warm glow on her face. Her features pinch with worry as your friend talks. There's like a horror movie in there, your friend finishes, shaking their head. Even I was freaked out, and I can handle bugs. Okay, thank you. All right, and then my second piece is titled Silly String as Substitute, and just a warning before I get into this one, there's a little bit of vomiting imagery at the end of it, so it's in 3 parts. 1. Have you ever tried Silly String, he asks her. They're alone in his room on his bed. He looks up from where he's been toying with the edge of her skirt. I didn't know Silly String was a solution, she says, but there are so many things she doesn't know, she assumes this is no different. I just hate how hollow it feels when you're waiting to be wanted. Want a hit? You can have some of mine, he replies. And then he's leaning over her body, grabbing a can from the dresser top, pressing it into her palm. Her fingers curl as they brush against his. The pads of his palms are rough. Lifetime guarantee. The bright red of the can in her hand cries comfort. Bottoms up. He mimes spraying it down his throat. The back of his tongue is stained artificial red, the freckles on his neck bobbing as his lips twist upwards. She expects it to taste like love, but the only thing on her taste buds as she inhales strings of scarlet is the tang of the pressurized air fizzing free from the can. Feeling the polymer curl around her cavities, she half wonders if it will turn to liquid again in her body, find a place so warm and inviting that it's content to stay forever. He's watching her. It's good, right? A quick grabbing motion with his free hand, and she passes the can back. He sticks his tongue out as he presses the nozzle. The scent of aerosolized cherry fills the air. 2. Now she's telling herself he still misses her, pressing her palm to the place where her stomach pushes past her waistline to remember just how much of herself was made from him. The flesh underneath her fingers pulses with warmth. She feels dizzy when she thinks about it for too long. The mirror in front of her is dusty at the corners, speckled with flecks of toothpaste and long evaporated water droplets. Beneath her feet, the tile of the bathroom floor radiates a chill. Winter has settled in the air. The liquid silicone sitting in her center sits independent to her sense of self. She decides that's not a problem for now. She will gladly fake feeling if it ever is close enough to count. The buzz of her phone, propped precariously on the side of the sink, turns her head to see who texted. Where her stomach used to soar, she feels only dread pulling. She waits 3 calculated minutes before replying, so as not to seem overeager. It becomes harder to move when he isn't near her, her body pulling in a direction her heart no longer wants to follow. Her mother comments on the bags growing beneath her eyes. She laughs away concerns and casts her eyes downward. 3. He says, I don't think I can be the person you want me to be, but there's a chemical bubbling in the back of her throat. She imagines a world where neither of them worry who gets more of the blankets at night. He says, maybe if you actually loved me, you wouldn't still feel so empty inside. and she says nothing. The weight in her gut packs tighter. He texts. I'm sorry, I just can't do this again. It's just not working. She takes 4 days and 6 hours to respond, sucking in her stomach and pretending life is normal, and suddenly she is vomiting silly string over the tile of the bathroom floor. And now she's on the ground, chest heaving, vision blurry, plastered against the linoleum, scraping sticky threads and forcing them back into her open mouth. Their texture is slimy, familiar, useless. She wishes her interior was biodegradable. She wants someone to help her feel like she can live forever again. Thank you all very much.
Abigail Hooft-Holland from Austin, Pennsylvania, is a double major in creative writing and communication arts. Abigail's proudest moment from her time at Susquehanna is her decision to pursue the creative writing major. She applied halfway through her sophomore year and didn't take her first genre class until she was a junior. Her childhood dream was to be a writer, and it took a lot of courage to finally pursue this dream. In fall of 2022, before she declared the creative writing major, I taught Abigail, and her talent was abundant and clear. But my favorite moment came when I taught her again in spring of 2024, and I got to see how Abigail's writing had grown immeasurably in poise and voice, and in the empathetic gesture toward character that I think sits near the heart of fiction. Professor Hasantika Sirasina writes, I've had the pleasure of working with Abigail Hooft-Holland twice, first in my Introduction to Creative Nonfiction workshop, and then this semester in my intermediate nonfiction class. Abigail is a smart, observant writer of identity and family. Her work lends topics such as the importance of names, what constitutes family and devotion. What shines through in all her writing is her generosity and her desire to see oneself and others clearly. I have no doubt that Abigail will bring this keen intelligence to her future beyond SU.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. The first thing I'm going to be reading is a flash fiction piece. It's titled August Again. Everyone in Hartman despised August, and yet it seemed to still come around every single year. Hot, muggy, and sticky were the only words anyone knew. Every person that walked into the mini-mart had a farmer's tan line from the never-finished chore of mowing. Our dads walked around in once white tank tops stained with sweat, dirt, grass, and God only knows what else. We all giggled when our dads stretched the wrong way, maybe to pass the salt, and their shirts showed a peak of the comparison of the summer's heat to their pasty white skin that held bundled up memories of winter. It was unbelievable how one man could have such stark differences painted on him. Mud spattered every kid's face, and I was no exception. It's as if our parents got so worn out from cleaning us all summer long, they gave up. They dreamed of when that first day of school finally came. Until that glorious day, bug bites littered all of our skin, pink welts screaming to be scratched. There were bruises and scabbed-over scratches painted down our legs. Girls or boys, it made no difference. Around here, it was all the same. These were the last weeks that all of us had together to skid our bikes through mud puddles, the last time we could stay up extra late with all the adults next to the campfire. It's when we tried to savor the moments of our bare feet in the icy water of the creek. We took the time to sit and listen to the buzz of the summer bugs that still sang through the night. That's why all of us kids on the block were running around outside together, making sure we played every game we could think of, doing anything to stretch out this last day. Thank you. The second piece I have is a poem that I wrote. It's titled, I claim to be an atheist, but I know that God is real. I know this on the wet grass at midnight, with the touchable Milky Way and repeated old stories. God is saying the Big Dipper instead of Ursa Major, and not understanding the difference between a waxing and a waning moon. It's pointing at an airplane and allowing yourself, if only just for a second, to believe in aliens. God is the peanut butter and jelly sandwich and the Capri Sun juice pouch that are shoved into the dinosaur lunchbox of a third grader. It's that sharp, stabbing chest pain mixing with the lack of air in the lungs, while frantically running away with a smile playing tag on the playground. I see God as the dirt under my fingernails, and as the pores on my big nose, and as the antidepressants in my blood. and as the hair on my legs. Heaven is in the warmth of my father's arms. It's in his scars: courage, laughter, honesty, anger, wrinkles, bad habits. It's carved into his bones. I see God in his eyes every day. God is real because God was my 16-year-old tomcat who only weighed 8 pounds. God is every fawn born in June, and how the tree planted a century ago holds the nest of the newly hatched wrens. God is Jimmy Buffett. God is Taylor Swift. God is pop music, rock and roll, folk songs, hip-hop, and jazz. God is the brief passing scent of my grandmother's perfume 9 years after she has been gone. God is not in church or in the comic section of an obituary on Facebook. God is not an all-powerful creator determining whether if I will be morally golden or banished to burn for all of eternity. God is all of this unmeasurable love for life that I can never put down. Thank you. The last thing I have to read is a piece of creative nonfiction. It's at the end of an essay that I wrote called The Dissection of a Girl Finding Memories Stored Across the Body, where I basically go throughout my own body and find different scars and tell a story behind them. Finally, the most obvious scar. Ironically, the one I always forget about. This scar has been a part of me for so long that I don't have a single memory of looking in the mirror without it. People don't ask about it very often, which is surprising based on how invasive strangers can be. I don't notice the stares I might be receiving. On my forehead, an uneven horizontal scar stretches across my face from one eyebrow to the other. It was August of 2007. I was 5 years old, almost 6, when my dad and I were in a serious car crash. For the weekend, we stayed at his girlfriend at the time's house. I have a clear picture of myself begging him if I could just stay home to play with my friends, but that wasn't an option. I was going. I don't remember anything about the weekend. Eventually, we were back in my dad's 1996 tomato red Jeep Cherokee heading home. I sat behind the driver's seat, sound asleep in my car seat. Whatever I did over the weekend ran me ragged. After an hour of driving with no one to talk to, my dad was getting tired. It took 1 second. He zoned out briefly, but by the time he came to, we were in the other lane and we were on a head-on crash with another vehicle. My dad came out pretty much unscathed, but I didn't. At impact, my seatbelt broke, and my car seat wasn't great. I hit my head on the top of the car, it dragged open the skin of my head, and I had to be life-flighted. I don't remember most events surrounding the crash, but I remember being in that helicopter. I was strapped down to the gurney, and because of how close the tearing of the skin was to my eyes, I could hardly see. The helicopter sounded like a machine from my worst nightmares, and there was a man with me that I didn't know. I was terrified. For most of the flight to the Geisinger Hospital in Danville, PA, all I did was cry and scream out, "I want my daddy! I want my daddy!" I was unaware that he was in a car with my other family members heading to the same place as quickly as he could. I ended up needing to have surgery and staples. My memories of everything are scattered. I remember them playing one of the Barbie movies for me before I fell asleep under anesthesia. I remember having suction cups stuck to me. I remember hearing my family around me. Even though it doesn't seem like it, this scar holds a lot of love. It holds my life. Thank you.
Okay, I've only just gotten to know Blandon Conklin from Pennsburg, Pennsylvania, as a hardworking novelist and novel reader in advanced fiction this semester. Meanwhile, over the past 4 years, he's developed a highly individual voice and aesthetic in poetry, fiction, and creative nonfiction. A creative writing major with a minor in earth and environmental sciences, Blandon will be hosting the Q&A session with poet Terrence Hayes next Wednesday night in Isaacs. Dr. Carla Kelsey says, Blandon is an exceptional writer of the environment, turning a keen eye to his surroundings while allowing philosophical questions about the interconnected nature of existence to shimmer underneath. Blandon says that his creative practice has changed in the sense that he's now able to prioritize his own voice over the expectations or desires of others. Dr. Kelsey continues, while his first poems were tuned to the natural world, his intermediate poetry chapbook, Weenie, The Flaws and Awes of a College Student, boldly turned this attention to the environment of university life, capturing the essence of disorientation and self-discovery that is at the heart of the exploration of identity and the transition to adulthood. She continues, not only is Blandon a stellar writer, he has also enriched the creative conversation with his sincerity, thoughtfulness, and deep intelligence. I join Dr. Kelsey in saying that we are so glad to have worked with Blandon during his time at SU.
Thank you, Dr. Dent, for the introduction. Tonight, I'm going to be reading 5 poems for you guys, largely from a chapbook that I wrote and published last semester. The first one is titled Weenie. Did anyone ever tell you you're a weenie? That funny look in their eye, it'll catch you feeling mile high. But when a kid in college looks up, maturity falls from the sky. Shit's got you feeling stuck in a costume. Threads and cashmere make your death look pretty. The death of yourself, it's a pity. How that chain of yours still won't light up the city. That's in your head, the city of nowhere. My dad says I'm cursed with this affinity, not letting go of this inner child within me. But that's the hard part about gravity. Having nowhere to start, it's a tragedy when you stand up but are just pushed down to the skyscrapers and penthouses in your head, back to the mud and dirt that is reality. Eyes with a funny look, read you like a book, trying to look all cool, getting played like a fool, flunking out of school because that shit ain't cool, and you ain't no fool, but those eyes you pull got you feeling like a tool, but you ain't, you're just a weenie. This next poem's called Color, or Summer Sunbaked. Need some sunscreen because my fit's got color. Up and left the team because I'm a solo runner. Outside is getting hot, it's summer. Summer sun-baked, my fit's got color. Jordan's out the shoe crate, still stepping like no other. Want another pick? Wait, DJ Khaled, here's another one. Moving like life's just for fun, because I know I've won. The process can't be faked when the fit's been summer sun-baked. You don't gotta tell me I don't wear Balenci, that shit don't offend me. Fashion's an art form. The hate's toxic, coliform. Ripping off my style, feels like porn. Don't crease the kicks, never worn. Why is the most important part of a shirt it's tagged? I don't know, but that logo makes me want to drop a bag. Post a hashtag on the social so they see the place that I'm in. I need to let everybody know that I'm a win. The sun's got my chain dancing, let it hit a move. It's dancing to that summer groove. My sneakers colored like the sunset hue. Look up at the sky, it ain't always blue. But when it is, catch me out there with the crew, because we're getting summer sun-baked. My fit's got color. Jordan's out the shoe crate, forever stepping like no other. Want another pick? Wait, DJ Khaled, here's another one. Moving like life's just for fun, because I know I've won. The process can't be faked when the fit's been summer sun-baked. And this poem's titled High Fade. High fade, high life. Look at where we've been, wolfing through our sins, just to count some tens. It's that high fade, high life that's got us where we are now. High fade, high life. Remember when they were so foul? High fade, high life. Now they're handing you a towel because the drip's got you too wet. And now they're preying on the cash cow with the high fade, high life. I'm a cash cow, so I ain't cooking up no beef. I got this fresh fade like wow, now you're looking softer than gold leaf because you don't own what you've got on. Your style's stolen, copied at the pawn. How you been rolling with that fake shit on? With that part in your hair and those burns on your face, while you're running up the years like your life's a race. I've been running up the commas at an all-time pace. I've been running from my death like it's a high-speed chase. Fading to the top, shit's so extra, it ain't terrestrial. These kinds of highs are the ones that'll take you up to space, where you'll find us repping that high fade, high life. Don't forget where we've been, wolfing through our sins, till we faded down to the skin. Because now we got that high fade, high life. Playback on the daily, high fade, high life. Pray the process don't fail me. High fade, high life. I gotta show off for my family, but you've only got one life to live, so you better not let it get hairy. Just hit it with that high fade, high life. This next poem's titled Robitussin. The nights have been getting cold, I'm feeling sickly. Dishes growing mold, all these hugs been getting prickly. But these dreams of diamonds and gold got me stacking my paper thickly. I'm so sick, don't need no Robitussin. I've been sick, winter nights I'm out here hustling. Take your pick, let the snot drip and keep on with the fussin', or don't let yourself quit and have your pockets bustin'. It's disgusting, the damage a lifestyle inflicts, clarity that drama encrypts, the soul that pains the dick. Wishing my family didn't have to see me like this. It's been getting difficult trying to live like an adult. Shout out Mac Miller, we're all just some kids. Hit up the mall, have a ball, cop a new fitted from Lids. I'm just saying that money's my medicine. I ain't playing, that's the remedy. Serenity, flash your bills, obscenity. Chase a check like you know that shit ain't ever free. Letting it make you a whole new identity. So sickly, I'm so sick, but don't need no Robitussin. I've been sick, winter nights I'm out here hustling. Take your pick, let the snot drip and keep on with the fussin', or don't let yourself quit and have your pockets bustin'. It's disgusting, making something out of nothing, while people saying that you're bluffing. I'm getting ill off this thrill, but I don't need no Robitussin. And then for my final poem, it's going to be Birthday Cake with No Candles. Icicles hanging off the window ledge. The afternoon sun makes them cry nonstop. I've been growing out my beard, but the wind still burns my face when walking to the corner shop. Mom told me I was going to grow up, but there's something about maturity relating to the obscurity of its lack of security. I don't get it, can't wrap my head around it. Can't hear the message, I gotta surround sound it. Looking for a purpose, but I still haven't found it. It gets lonely, another year I've gotta handle. It gets lonely, frozen nights up on Sand Hill. It gets lonely, wondering if pain can be killed. It gets lonely, birthday cake with no candles. The spring rains melt away the ice outside. April showers bring May flowers, but I feel powerless, trying to grow from the inside. I cut off most of my hair, figured it was time to let it breathe. But now this rain's giving me a head cold. I think I need to take my curls and leave all my bullshit behind me, driving my anxiety to a place where I'll never go. But it's exactly that I don't know. I've got things to do, champagnes to taste. I've got trophies to chase, no time to waste. Mom told me maturing is finding your own flow, focusing on my journey, no copy and paste. Candles in an empty room, but they still glow. It gets lonely, all these years I've got to handle. It gets lonely, finding a breeze up on Sand Hill. It gets lonely, looking down at past pains like they can be killed. It gets lonely, birthday cake with no candles.
Gabby Feliciano is a creative writing major and film studies minor from Woodbridge Township, New Jersey. Gabby's writing practice has changed over her years at Susquehanna. She used to struggle to write and wonder if it was worth writing in the first place. But now she has bits and pieces of her writing on her walls, in her phone, and buried between books on her desk. It's easy to write anywhere about anything. Gabby offers us all the following advice. Write with blood, sweat, tears, and any other bodily fluids you can muster. It will be uncomfortable at times. But it is the most rewarding to be able to smear the pages with a part of yourself. Professor Monica Prince says, Gabby Feliciano took to poetry like a match to an oil rig, explosively, fervently, without apology. In my intro to poetry course, Gabby wrote a poem that could be read from top to bottom and bottom to top, a feat accomplished poets never even attempt. Gabby floors me with her powerful stage presence. Her performance poems are evocative, heart-wrenching, and deeply personal, the kind that invite the reader into her world. Come closer, her poems whisper. I'll take you somewhere new. Gabby's unflinching personality emboldens everyone around her to strive higher. If she can do it, why can't we all?
I'm going to be reading 2 poems, then a short nonfiction piece, and then top it off with one last final poem. I was told not to apologize. My bad, guys, I'm sorry, but I'm not really apologizing for anything except, well, I don't even know. It's just instinct with us girls, to apologize at the slightest inconvenience. It's convenient how coherent women turn transparent when excusing our existence, Funny how it only takes an instance to believe that we need some distance from those who never apologize, the type who always project, the ones that swear they protect us, but then turn around and neglect us, always so direct, never seem to reflect on the words spewing from their mouth, not mine, and still I'm the one apologizing. Well, that's just some bullshit if you ask me. What happens when you are in physical pain? Nervous systems override, obey the transition, become oblivious to the obvious, bleed in your ribs, drip lumps from your liver, whisper soft wishes in silence, yell about yesterday, yearn for tomorrow that won't make it, you won't make it, I'm trying. Swim in the seas of our tears, adding levels to a blistering blue that shines for all to see. Swallow salty water until it burns and bellows within your chest, creating cavities in your teeth, tracing the lies you tell yourself at night, every night, going unnoticed with necklaces too tight, never nibble on nails, pierce them until they bleed. When does decency become audacity? Tone of voice violates involuntarily, gentle gestures suggest otherwise. I'm tired. Give up and become unknown, but try to understand why we're underground and kept there. Rise to the surface to be killed again. Leave a kiss because it's rare and full of rage. Cup your hands so they're hollow. Spill secrets only you know. Set them free. Follow the melody as if it's fact. Exist in enlightenment because it's easy. Sleep now before regret takes over. This piece is called Days Before Departure, which was written in sight of my go trip to Spain. After prepping this trip for so long, you would think the pit of guilt in my stomach would go away. Not the guilt of leaving your home, but the guilt of wanting to. There's a difference. The floor planks latched on my ankles with their splinters inching deeper into my skin, practically hitting bone. My bed was the only safe place the wood couldn't reach. Instead, they held my suitcases to the floor. No matter how hard I tried, the cases wouldn't budge. My father couldn't find the words to comfort me. Instead, we stared at the luggage, then back at each other. It will get easier. He held my knee, too scared to reach for my hand. I was too, not because I didn't want it, but because I refused to let fear and doubt cloud my judgments. There wasn't much to say on the matter, at least I wasn't expecting anything to be said. Usually he would leave behind smart remarks about keeping my room tidy. He would nag me about keeping the floor clear so I and others could get around. Today it didn't matter, and it hasn't mattered for a whole week. I took this opportunity to start cleaning out my room for good. I was at it for 2 weeks, burying myself in the past. How much can one person change in a lifetime? Would it always lead to a good outcome? The more I got rid of, the more dependent I was on this trip, because then there was a reason for this, even if I didn't fully understand it. The holidays grew closer and I dreaded it. Thinking about extended family wringed out my energy, sucking out my last breath until my lungs were tight. Don't get me wrong, I love them. It's because I love them that I need space. I could tell they all suspected something, but there was nothing. Still, there is nothing. Everyone held the same question in the back of their minds, marinating until the day inched closer. Are you excited? Answer against your will. Yes. What do you want to do there? I don't know. It came out as a question more than a statement. Are you nervous? No. To be honest, my main concern was transferring the US dollar into euros. I'm not good at math. You're not scared about being out there all alone? No, but even so, I'm not alone. I never understood why they failed to see that my boyfriend was going with me. Will you be safe? Yes. I'm not dumb enough to do anything stupid. You're so lucky. I need this to graduate, but yes, I guess I am. This was a required experience for students to graduate, at least for my class. Are you nervous? No. They would look at me as if I'm answering their questions all wrong. Well, I'm sure the excitement will hit you when it's time to leave. No comment. I tried not to make it a big deal that I was traveling, in their eyes, so young. I can feel the intense pressure radiating off them with every comment or remark about leaving. I want to hear all about it when you come back. Take lots of photos for me. I just smiled. When it was time to board the plane, I focused only on my family. I made sure my parents kept a cool head by keeping my thoughts in check. Don't say they were smothering me while I checked my bags. Don't be too cold when it's time to say goodbye. No matter how hard I try, just hold on to them a little longer, especially your mother. She will take it the hardest. I was genuinely excited when I selected Spain. The nerves began to settle when it was time to tell them my decision. My father was supportive as always. My mother was a bit harsher. Her only response was doubt and confusion as to why I would think about being gone for so long. It was a tough conversation. Everyone talks about leaving home so negatively, and I never understood that. It can be hard to stand your family, but even I knew how hard this can be for them. They stayed with me up until security stopped them. When I passed through, my attention was grabbed again by them waving with big ear-to-ear grins. I waved back, the normal thing to do in a space where nothing felt normal. I can only imagine the thick silence that would grow on the car ride back home. My mom probably holding back some tears because her youngest daughter was off to new things, all while her last-born son is in the back seat, beginning to prep for college. My father thinking about my well-being, trusting I will be safe with my boyfriend around. While he says I'll be all right, I'm sure he's happier knowing that my boyfriend will protect me at all costs. I think I will miss my father most. I began to think about Spain and what it would be like. I tended to compare things to one another, but this was different. I knew I would love it there, and I knew that returning home would be a lot harder than leaving. When my hands made contact with the delicate blue seats of the plane, there was nothing but clear skies. The calm finally set in. Freedom tasted so sweet and seemed to last forever. I bet no one would believe me if I told them I dreamt of this moment since I was little. The last one. When a girl is reborn into a world trapped in storybooks for so long, never fully understanding, never fully grasping what she was missing for so long. Timing could never be better. Oceans bluer than the sky, streets so full of life, beaches cleaner than ever, laughter sounding so genuine, so good it hurts. Es peligroso when a daughter of the motherland yearns to go back, first coming to see the island, then leaving my island, my home. I never had mofongo like this, oxtails that fall off the bone, melt in between my teeth, tres leches that drips from my spoon. How can this be kept from anyone, kept from me, the one person who begs to learn more, the one who pleads to learn the native language, on her knees until they bled, blurry vision clouded by tears because I am told to feel it in my soul. But how can I feel something I never knew existed? Something I only read in stories, only seen in photos, too young to remember the first time I touched the soil with my bare hands. I was robbed. The time took its course and I can fix it on my own. Dile que esta es mi casa donde nació mi abuelo. Cuidado, es peligroso. Thank you.
Our final reader tonight is a double major in creative writing and advertising and public relations. Avery Atkins from Lebanon, Pennsylvania, says that one of the surprising changes in her writing practice is that when she first arrived at SU, she didn't think she would like creative nonfiction, and now it's her favorite genre. Avery says, I always thought that I expressed myself best in poetry and had the most fun writing fiction, but now I can merge both of those things into CNF, which is so special to me. My colleague, Dr. Glenn Retief, writes, Avery Atkins is an exceptionally talented memoirist whose writing is marked by depth, clarity, lyricism, formal innovation, and emotional resonance. As a student in introductory, intermediate, and advanced nonfiction, she consistently demonstrated a strong work ethic, keen analytical skills, and a thoughtful engagement with both her own work and that of her peers. Her insights in workshop were always astute and constructive. Dr. Retief adds, beyond her talent, Avery is a delightful presence, someone who elevates discussions and fosters a supportive creative environment. Not long after I met Avery on Short Story Island, a forms course in which she impressed me with her maturity and close reading skills, she studied abroad for a full semester in Liverpool, England. The writing of which she is proudest is a creative nonfiction piece that she wrote about her Liverpool adventures, titled Postcards from 20. We can't wait to hear you read your work.
Thank
you, Dr. Dent and Brennan too. That's very nice. So I will actually be reading excerpts from Postcards from 20. I'll be reading 3 in a row. So the first is A Lifetime in Liverpool, and then Watercolor Coliseum, and then The Fab Four. And then I'll finish out with a poem. So here is A Lifetime in Liverpool. Anxiety and excitement are the same emotion. The difference is which one we choose to be. The words of my high school cross-country coach have ingrained themselves in my head over these past few days. I'm someone who doesn't like change, like, at all. Even thinking about leaving for England would make my stomach drop, so I tried not to think about the fact that I was leaving the country. I'm still trying not to think about it. I'm alone in a small dorm room, too early to consider it mine. I've been in Liverpool, England for less than a day, and I don't think I miss home. I feel guilty just admitting that. I can't hide from the fact that I'm in another part of the world where I know no one, where I have no friends, no family, no boyfriend to lean on. I look around at the empty dresser, nightstand, bed, shelves, desk. A sink stands in the corner of the room. I had checked the university website over and over again before I left home, so I wasn't surprised to see my sink. I know that every dorm has one. I open my vacuum-sealed bags inside my suitcase and watch the clothes inside double in size. I place them in the dresser's 4 drawers. It's not long before my head starts pounding. I'm not even sure how to count the past 24 hours with the travel time and the time zone changes. All I know is that I'm completely white. My pillow looks too tempting, the duvet puffed like a cloud. Even in exhaustion, the thoughts won't slow. I brush my teeth in the sink and look up at myself in the mirror. I'm so excited. Watercolor Coliseum. When in Rome, try not to panic. Though you've only had this trip planned for 4 days and you've only been abroad for a week total, everything will work itself out. Even though you're not sure if a 16-pound flight will actually make it to Italy safely, it's best not to panic, right? Spoiler alert, the 16-pound flight did make it to Rome safely, and everything did work out. My friend Jimmy from back home had been studying abroad in Rome for a month or so, and this was his last week here. Somehow, he had miraculously convinced me to come visit him in the week before he left. And I had miraculously convinced my new friend Elle to come along. We took a bus into the city as the sun bounced off distant ruins on the green hillsides to our left. Funny how a week in England had already made me forget the sun. Aqueducts loomed on our right. The palm trees danced in the breeze. Shrubbery intruded into the already busy streets. I couldn't close my eyes. When we arrived in the city, Elle and I shared pastries for breakfast. Our mouths were powdered with sugar when Jimmy arrived. Similar to an excitable puppy with limited limb control, Jimmy flopped into my arms in a long-anticipated hug. We both pulled back, beaming. Jimmy, this is my friend Elle. Elle, this is Jimmy. I awkwardly gestured to each of them before dropping my hands uselessly by my sides. Elle's polite smile was returned with a wide grin from Jimmy before he guided us onto the busy metro. When the doors opened, we weaved through the crowd and pressed into fresh air. People abruptly stopped, and I looked up, dumbfounded. The Coliseum stretched into sky. We spent the day with Jimmy guiding us from landmark to landmark. I'm childlike in the things that stick in my mind. A pigeon strutting around the Coliseum, buying a blue raspberry-flavored prime drink, as encouraged by Jimmy. Elle and I throwing dimes into the Trevi Fountain and making wishes. A seagull trying to eat trash through a plastic trash can in Vatican City, while Jimmy enjoyed standing in 2 countries at once. Posing with Caesar and meeting Freddie Mercury in the wax figure museum we went into, when the day turned into night and the Italian weather felt more like England's. Drinking from a fountain on the cobblestone streets and splashing water on my entire face. But of all things I remember, one moment sticks out the most. The last thing Elle and I did in Italy was meet a stray cat who was lying in the ruins of the Senate. His straggly black fur stuck out in all directions, his tail a short stub, his yellow eyes soaked with sadness. We sat on the stony sidewalk and pet him for what felt like hours. We named him Milo, a reference to our next stop in Italy. He curled up on Elle's leggings and began to purr. It's that unplanned moment that I loved the most. Don't overthink it all. Enjoy petting Milo and smiling forever. The Fab Four. During all 4 months living abroad in England, I never thought this day would come. I still knew it would. I've tried begging time to slow down before, and rudely it never complies. I look around at my empty dorm room, the bulletin board once stuffed with pictures, now an empty and dull gray. The trinkets I collected from each city that once littered my nightstand, now tucked away inside my bloated suitcase. My armoire bare, my duvet cover folded up on top of the scraggly blue mattress, my Tesco muffin crumbs vacuumed from the carpet. I don't feel like I'm done here. To be honest, I don't think I would ever feel like I'm done here. I feel so different and yet so much the same. I know that I need to turn the page. I know that it's time to close this chapter of my life, but it's so hard. Once it's closed for good. My past is already set in stone. Those moments I had have already passed. From here on out, all I'll have are the memories. And then my final piece is a poem that I wrote last semester in intermediate poetry called Fragmented Zoria. My rosy-fingered sister sits at the right hand of our father, dressing the Empyrean with rust and dusty rose emotions. Waves draped over tumbled stones resting at our toes, the tides of the times we were once united in household and surname, and now we are nothing. I miss drifting aimlessly to your room across the hall, the room that you left empty. Now the cadence of your name feels foreign. My sisters, sweet trio that stretched the sky toward the sun, together we dragged celestial beings to orbit. 6 hands, a pair older, a pair younger, and mine, working as one to save life from darkness, breathing water and vomiting light. Then he comes and he loves you like I do. He comes and I love him as you. He swallows you whole and holds tightly. You give him your heart and break mine. And he's good and he's true and he's driven, so it's hard that I hate this so much. After all, it's hardly kidnapping when you're willingly packing your room. It's hard not to feel replaceable when his family gives you 2 sisters less needy than the ones you'd had before. I get what you're saying, but they'll be my sisters too. Your new sisters' law-bound bonds, thicker than the blood that we spilled over tree roots and ice shards. I don't think you get what I'm saying. 3 sisters, scattered to different times of day, never to live in shared moments again. You won't see my crying behind the chapel. I won't let you see my darkest moment. I'll raise the sun alone over the void you left in me, my littlest, dearest, feeblest dawn. Thank you.
Let's give it up one more time for our readers. So proud of y'all. Okay. I'm going to introduce our spectacular founder, Gary Fink, to introduce the Writers Institute Fink Senior Portfolio Prize. So a little background first. This $1,000 annual award endowed by Dr. Gary Fink, the founder of our creative writing program, and his wife, Elizabeth, is for the strongest submission of a portfolio of creative work by a graduating senior in our program. Any genre or any combination of genres taught in the creative writing major is welcome. The prize-winning portfolio is published as a limited edition chapbook distributed as a gift to the Friends of the Writers Institute. So if you're not a friend yet, see Professor Zita later. All right. This year, the judge for the award was Sarah Zemsky, class of 2013. Sarah Zemsky is the executive director of Noemi Press and the business coordinator at the University of Arizona Poetry Center. A poet, editor, and book designer living and working in Tucson, Arizona. She earned an MFA in poetry from New Mexico State University. Her current manuscript in progress about growing up an evangelical pastor's daughter grapples with fundamentalism's effects on her girlhood/womanhood, confronting its nationalist rhetoric and roots. Her chapbook of poetry, prose, and photographs, Centralia, is from Pork Belly Press, published in 2015, and other work of hers appears in journals including Poetry, Carriage Lit, Spoon River Poetry Review, Four Chambers, and Bone Bouquet. And about our fabulous founder, Gary Fink, founded the Writers Institute in 1993, founded the Creative Writing major in 1996, and directed the Institute for 21 years. His books have won the Flannery O'Connor Prize for Short Fiction, the Robert C. Jones Prize for Short Nonfiction Prose, and the Wheeler Prize for Poetry, including lots of other things. Recent collections include After the Locks Are Changed from Stephen F. Austin University Press in 2024, and the thematic memoir and personal essays, The Mayan Syndrome from Mad Hat Press in 2023. His stories, poems, and essays have appeared in such periodicals as Harper's, Paris Review, Plowshares, Poetry, and the Missouri Review, as well as in Best American Essays 2020 and Best Small Fictions 2020. Pelicanesis Press published his collection of stories, History of the Baker's Dozen, on August 6, 2024. And it is my understanding that Gary has 5 books being published this year. We hope he'll come and read some of them to us later this fall. Please welcome the stunning protected Dr. Gary Fink.
Thanks, Monica. Actually, the first thing I want to do is thank Catherine for moving this reading to the art gallery, so I don't have to hobble up the stairs anymore. I don't know if any of you saw it. For a while there was no railing, and then they put a railing in. And now all I have to do is hobble a couple steps. This 16 years we've been able to do this, my wife and I. So she understands that the first thing I'm going to say tonight is to introduce her. She is far and away the most stable and reliable person in our whole immediate family, the real matriarch, and my wife for 56 years and counting, Elizabeth. She was afraid you were going to make her come up here.
I got you, though. I got you.
But no, the one thing I want to say about Sarah Jemsky, those of you who knew her, I was trying to think of a way to describe her. And one of the most empty phrases you can have describing someone is to say somebody is really nice. Except for Sarah Jemsky. Really. She's an extraordinary young woman, really talented, thoughtful, really nice person. In fact, I'm trying to think of a story to tell about her, but I do have one. Her boyfriend, when she was a senior in high school and she came to talk in my office, there was a current student here who was a freshman, who walked her in the door and said, "This is my girlfriend and she wants to write poetry." As these things go, by the time she left and by the time he left, they weren't boyfriend and girlfriend anymore. And I know that what he does now is he's a stand-up comedian, which is kind of interesting. He has a stage name and so on. But Sarah went on to write poetry and edit poetry, and so on. In fact, one reason why I thought about her being really nice is, without me asking her, she decided to include a note for everyone in the senior creative writing class. So I'm going to read this to you first. It was an honor to read the work of this year's Susquehanna seniors. As a writer and editor, I've been on both sides of a prize submission. I know the act of hope it takes to submit your work. I also know that prizes are reflective of a particular judge's preferences at a specific point in time. Regardless of the outcome, I encourage each of you to continue your writing practices, read widely, and share your work. Reading these senior portfolios has been a lovely reminder of the talent being fostered in the creative writing program, and I'm excited to hear more from each of you as you grow into the next bright literary stars and future colleagues. And now I want to read her comments about this year's winner. She had this to say: I admire this writer's handle on craft and the unafraid way the work discusses young queer reckonings in rural America. The writing is stark and honest, finding an unnerving normal in the stories we tell our families, our lovers, and our own bodies. The portfolio has a quiet confidence that stares into its subjects with sharp precision. And then, through the sights, you see only your own face. Happy to award this year's Gary and Elizabeth Fink Prize to Gray Weatherford Brown. Thank you all for coming. Have a chance to congratulate Gray and all the other readers. I've come to 3 readings this year. It's been a wonderful experience, getting a chance to listen to everyone. Have a good evening.